Listen up, soldier. Life is a battlefield, and every day is a new battle. It's a constant and ever-changing war that requires you to be prepared and adaptable at all times. And just like in any war, the key to your victory lies in your ability to outmaneuver and outthink your opponent. Sun Tzu's The Art of War provides timeless wisdom that can help you win the battles of life. These lessons aren't just for soldiers on a physical battlefield, but for anyone who wants to be successful in their endeavors. Whether it's in a business, relationships, or personal growth. Now you might be thinking, what does an ancient Chinese military strategist have to do with me? Well, let me tell you, these principles of warfare are just as applicable today as they were centuries ago. In fact, they're downright essential to navigating the modern battlefield of life. And let's be real, life ain't fair. Sometimes you gotta fight dirty to come out on top. But with Sun Tzu's teaching in your arsenal, you'll have the upper hand in any situation. So you better pay attention because these lessons are going to change the game for you. Lesson 1. Know your enemy and know yourself. When Sun Tzu said know your enemy and know yourself, he was emphasizing the importance of understanding both your strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of your opponents. This knowledge is essential for developing effective strategies and tactics. In the context of modern life, your enemy can be anyone who stands in the way of your success. That could be your boss, your coworker, your rival for a romantic interest, or even your own self-doubt. But before you can effectively defeat your enemy, you need to have a clear understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. But Sun Tzu's teachings aren't just about understanding your enemy. They're also about understanding yourself. You need to have a clear understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses in order to develop effective strategies and tactics. Be honest with yourself about your limitations. What are your weaknesses? What are your areas of improvement? By understanding your own limitations, you can develop strategies to overcome them and leverage your strengths to your advantage. Sun Tzu believed that one of the most effective ways to defeat an enemy was to strike at their weakness. This could be accomplished through a variety of tactics, including attacking at the right time and place, using surprise and deception, and taking advantage of your opponent's vulnerabilities. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy or yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Sun Tzu. In order to truly know your enemy, you must gather intelligence and information on their strengths, weaknesses, and tactics. This can be done through a variety of means, including scouting, surveillance, and interrogation. By understanding your enemy's tactics and strategies, you can begin to anticipate their moves and counter them effectively. Sun Tzu also believed in the importance of flexibility and adaptability in warfare. It is crucial to be able to adjust your strategy and tactics based on specific circumstances you're facing. As Sun Tzu famously wrote, "In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak." One of the key tactics Sun Tzu recommends for achieving victory without direct conflict is the use of deception. By misdirecting your opponent or presenting false information, you can gain the upper hand and achieve your objectives without risking direct confrontation. Listen, by watching these videos, I know you aren't one of those losers who think they already know everything. Even if you've only watched one video on this channel, you still clicked on it, and that shows that you have a fire inside of you to start improving. You already showed the willpower. The only thing you need is a path. I've put down 10 modules which you can see as ladders. Every module or ladder will exactly explain to you step by step how to get to the top. From achieving peak masculinity, advanced testosterone optimization, getting women, mastering the game of exchanging value, to actual money-making methods, and even more. I have literally laid the groundwork for you to become jacked, attractive, rich, and of high social status. You don't lack motivation. You just lack the knowledge and trust in the path that you're taking. You can continue messing around in the never-ending cycle of taking paths that lead to nothing, or click the link in the description down below. Chapter 2. Strike at the enemy's weaknesses. When it comes to warfare, Sun Tzu emphasized the importance of identifying and exploiting the weaknesses of your opponent. Same can be said for life. To be successful, you must be able to identify the weaknesses of those around you and use them to your advantage. It's not about being malicious or unethical, but rather about being strategic and smart. If you can identify the areas in which your opponent is vulnerable, you can then craft a plan of attack that maximizes your chances of success. One tactic for exploiting weakness is to observe your opponent's behavior and decision-making patterns. By doing so, you might be able to predict their actions and plan your own accordingly. Another tactic is to use diversionary tactics to distract your opponent from their strengths and draw them towards their weaknesses. Sun Tzu famously said, "All warfare is based on deception. By intentionally misleading your opponent, you can create an advantage for yourself and capitalize on their weakness." Chapter 3. Avoid direct conflict. In war, direct conflict can often lead to unnecessary casualties and resource depletion. The same goes for life. Sometimes it's better to win without fighting if possible. This can be achieved through tactics such as deception, diversion, and manipulation. An effective tactic is diversion. By diverting your opponent's attention away from your real objective, you can catch them off guard and strike when they least expect it. Sun Tzu advised, "When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard." That means that you should always provide your opponent with an escape route to lure them into a false sense of security. Manipulation is also a powerful tactic for avoiding direct conflict. By manipulating your opponent's emotions or beliefs, you can control their actions and gain an advantage without engaging in direct conflict. Sun Tzu advised, "Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. And if his forces are united, separate them." This means that by playing to your opponent's weaknesses, you can control the situation and come out on top. Remember that in life, winning without fighting is the ultimate victory. Chapter 4. Adapt your strategy to the situation. A rigid approach to warfare is not the path to victory. Instead, one should adapt their strategy to the specific circumstances that they face in order to maximize their chances of success. This means that it's important to stay flexible and open-minded in the face of changing circumstances. It also means that one should be willing to adjust their tactics and approaches necessary in order to meet the challenges at hand. One strategy for adapting to the situation is to be proactive in gathering intelligence, which means doing research and analysis to understand the environment and the factors that are at play. By gathering intelligence, one can gain insights into the weaknesses and strengths of the enemy and the terrain that they're fighting on. Another strategy is to be creative in developing tactics and approaches. This can involve taking risks and trying new things, even if they're unconventional. By being creative and flexible, one can surprise their opponent and gain the upper hand. Sun Tzu himself said, "When you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be dampened. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. Again, if the campaign is protracted, the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain." This quote emphasizes the importance of adapting your strategy to the situation at hand and avoiding a prolonged conflict that will only weaken your forces. Chapter 5. Know when to stop. Sun Tzu cautions against continuing a conflict beyond a certain point. Continuing to fight can be costly and counterproductive. It can cause unnecessary damage to both parties involved and may result in long-term negative consequences. To be successful in life, it's really important to have a clear understanding of your goals and be willing to stop fighting once those goals have been achieved. That doesn't mean that you should give up on your dreams or aspirations, but rather that you should have a realistic sense of when it's time to move on to the next phase of your life. One way to know when to stop is to have a clear exit strategy. Determine what your end goal is and identify the steps that you need to achieve it. Once you've accomplished your goal, it's time to move on to the next challenge. Sun Tzu also stresses the importance of understanding the cost of war. The longer a conflict drags on, the more resources it will consume, and the more difficult it will be to achieve your goals. This is why it's crucial to have a clear understanding of when to stop fighting and when to negotiate. In life, there will be situations where it might be necessary to compromise or make concessions. That doesn't mean that you're weak or that you've given up on your goals, but rather that you are willing to be flexible and work towards a solution that benefits everyone involved. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious. We'll round it up right there. Keep the education flowing, my friend. you are slowly changing your values and actions to becoming a great man. I promise you that. And again, every video that you watch, your balls drop. Just saying. Thanks for watching.